Hey guys, welcome back. And in this episode of the podcast, we're diving into a PR disaster that didn't have to be a PR disaster. That's the toxic mommy group that Ashley Tisdale did a blog post in the cut about that turned out to be confirmed by Hillary Duff's husband and a kind of 14-year-old, very immature Instagram story that it was in fact Mandy Moore, Hillary Duff, Megan Trainor, and a bunch of other famous women that were actually the mommy group that Ashley Tisdale was talking about. So we're going to deal with that. And we're also going to talk about the opposite of this, to be honest. A brand that has such ironclad branding, marketing, and PR that even when she lies to her community over and over and over again, nothing happens. Yes, we are talking about Mel Robbins and her latest grift. Because what she's done is claim that she spent over a year creating this new pure genius shot of protein, but really she just acquired another company and then made the protein source worse. So we're getting into both of those stories today. And if you're new here, I have over 15 years of experience in branding, marketing, and PR, working with everyone from the new entrepreneur all the way up to big celebrities and household names. So I bring all of that knowledge and experience to you to get you behind the headlines to see who's spinning and why. And with that said, let's get started with Ashley Tisdale. Now, she never named names. You could argue, and I can absolutely see the perspective that she should have seen how this would go down, that internet sleuths would do internet sleuth things and figure out the mommy group that she was talking about. However, in the cut interview or the cut blog post that she had posted, she never named names. She framed it as her emotional experience. And maybe that's where she didn't realize the impact it was going to have because she might not have realized how much it would resonate with people. Because it was framed as her emotional experience, as feeling as though she was being kicked out of a mommy group where she was no longer really a part of the group chats. They were ignoring her chats and she would see them post online, but she was never invited to the events. She was never invited to the get togethers. And so I don't know about you, but for me, that hits a chord. And that emotional experience that she shared is one of the fastest ways to connect with people. Emotions over logic is the fastest way to connect with people. Problem is, a lot of people try to connect with others through logic. It doesn't work like that. So we don't have to agree with another person's emotional experience, whether it's a friend, a partner, a coworker. It is not our place unless you're a narcissist trying to control everyone around you. It is not our place to control how other people feel in a situation like that. So at the end of the day, the way I look at it is, should she have seen that this might blow up? Yeah, in today's day and age, she probably should have expected it. And she just may not have seen how much this would resonate with people. I think back even to not just high school. Yes, high school, where I was kind of always the outsider. I was a horse girl and I would do cheerleading and I would do soccer and I would fit in with these kids and those kids. So I never really had a quote unquote home. And so I can definitely relate to that feeling of being left out or that feeling of kind of being on the outskirts of a group, never fully included. And I have ADHD, so the rejection sensitivity is huge with that. So I could resonate with that. But really, when I felt into and heard this experience, it reminded me more of the spiritual community. I remember about 6 years ago, I had on my platforms spoken out very innocently about a bad experience I had in a spiritual community and how everyone kind of thought they were, queens of the internet, if you will. And I didn't mention names. I didn't bring up who it was. I just shared my views on how some of the spiritual communities were framed and how it's very easy to feel like you contort yourself to fit in because if you don't perfectly fit in, you get kicked out, you get ostracized. And so I had spoken about many things that I felt were concerning within the industry. And while I didn't mention names, people started to put it together. And wouldn't you know, they had a conniption. The people that were part of this community slash what I believe could be classified as a cult. And so people started to put it together. They went crazy creating fake accounts to send me hate mail. They went to all my social media platforms, my Facebook pages, my podcasts, tanked my reviews. They flooded the comments of my Instagram posts to basically shame me or scare me off the internet. Well, joke's on them because I'm still here. But the reality is, I've been a piece of this where you are sharing your emotional experience and how you've learned through the process, and it's weaponized against you. And that's why I really believe that Hillary Duff, Mandy Moore, Matthew Coma, who I never knew his name until he posted and inserted himself in Girl Drama, who is Hillary Duff's husband. I really believe that they should have viewed this as more of, yes, annoying, but survivable. Ashley Tisdale's PR was coming out saying, no, it's not them. It's not them. The only reason we have confirmation it is them is because of Matthew Coma pulling a shady 14-year-old girl move on his Instagram stories. That's it. And then everyone piled on. All the girls have something to say now. They need to interject themselves. And so what could have been a week news cycle, right? Not week as in WEAK, week as in 7 days, a week news cycle where the internet is bored. There's nothing big happening right now. There's no big celebrity drama other than waiting for the Baldoni and Lively case. And I think it's March of this year. There's not a lot going on. So people are bored. Commentators are going to commentate. Sleuths are going to sleuth. And it would have lasted probably just a week because no one would have fanned the flames. But instead, they had to interject themselves and make it so much worse. And at the end of the portion talking about the toxic mommy group, I'm going to give you what I believe they should have done. I think there were two options and they should have chosen one of them. This is not, it wasn't an A, B, or C situation, but they chose C. Now, this is what I believe self-inflicted escalation at this point. And it confirms, in my view, and some people might disagree with me on this, to me, it confirms that they are exactly what Ashley Tisdale had said they are. Because this reaction, this overreaction, it feels very high school, but it is very Hollywood of them. I mean, it's very on brand for Hollywood. So, I mean, in that way, they're very on brand. Let's go through, though, the step-by-step PR failure that the toxic mommy group did. And we're going to start with Matthew Coma. So first of all, this is what Matthew Coma had posted on his Instagram stories. He deleted it shortly after, but I do believe Hillary Duff was in on it. I don't think he went rogue with this. There were articles that supported it and were backing it up right away. I do believe she knew that he was going to do this. I don't think they expected the backlash they were going to get. I think maybe they figured people would laugh with them, but it's not what happened. So he posted this, and it's a fake magazine cover. He says, read my interview with The Cut. There is no interview with The Cut. He didn't have an interview with The Cut. And it's his face photoshopped over Ashley Tisdale's body. I'll show you the image she had. And it says, a mom group tell-all through a father's eyes. When you're the most self-obsessed, tone-deaf person on earth, other moms tend to shift focus to their actual toddlers. Hello, pot. Meet kettle. What? This to me, I mean, I'm not saying Ashley Tisdale isn't self-obsessed. I'm not saying she has no role in this. I'm ADHD. I'm neurospicy. And so I'm very used to being misunderstood in groups. A great reason for me to not have kids is to stay out of this kind of environment. Like, this is another reason where I'm just proud of myself that I never had kids because I don't want mommy groups. I survived high school. I survived the 4 years. I don't want to go back. And so to me, this just feels like, sure, she could have things to work on, but tone deaf. This is tone deaf. So this is his image. It didn't last long on social media. And that is the image and cover that Ashley had for The Cut, for the image of her. I think it was just a blog. It wasn't even some big expose. I mean, this wasn't the new Inside a Hollywood smear campaign a la Blake Lively. It was honestly an innocent blog. And it's giving the same vibe that I have with that spiritual community / cult of the reaction told you everything you needed to know. So this is what Ashley had. It's been a year breaking up with my toxic mom group. And again, it was her emotional experience of what she's been through. And she is allowed, I know sometimes in today's world, we don't feel like people are allowed to have their own opinions and feelings about things, but people are allowed to have and have the emotions of feeling sadness and rejection, even if the other girls think, well, we weren't actually rejecting you, right? That's just kind of in your head. People are still allowed to feel a certain way. And again, you might say she should have never gone to the internet in the first place. And I can see that perspective. And having been there myself and told my story, it isn't just cathartic to get it out for yourself because, I mean, from a nervous system perspective, the body keeps score. You hold all that shit in. But second, I, again, will double down on I don't believe she expected it to blow up like this. I think it was just sharing her experience and just so many people could relate, whether it's a mommy group, a circle of friends, high school, people can relate to this. Equestrianism, if you have horses, you can definitely relate to that. So this is where things became the story. Yes, people had been looking online and they started to piece together that all of a sudden the girls weren't following each other on social media, which, is the biggest. I've never realized until the last couple of years how serious people take this, right? It turns into drama. If you're following the right people or not following the right people, it's all drama. I see why Taylor Swift follows no one. So people were starting to catch on to this stuff. But at the end of the day, there was still plausible deniability until this. So he publicly mocked something that didn't name him or his wife in the first place. He positioned himself as defensive instead of grounded and responding. That comes off as snarky and defensive. And I know some people have said, yeah, he's just a funny guy and this is how he is. Optics, my friends. Optics are a whole part of PR and branding and marketing. So the reaction became from the internet, if the shoe fits, and it seems to fit. So it actually made things worse. And then he deletes it, which just added more fuel to the fire and confirmed in a lot of people's eyes guilt in the court of public opinion. Deleting doesn't erase what happened. People get screenshots these days. I genuinely think we're at a point in time where not only do celebrities not understand what it takes for branding, marketing, and PR in 2025, 2026. That was definitely an issue with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. But maybe they're so detached from reality that they genuinely don't think this through and go, oh shit, people could just take screenshots and, post it on their own Instagram grid. And that's where we also actually started to see comparisons to Ryan Reynolds start to pop up. And I can imagine that Hillary Duff and everyone associated, because again, if one goes down in this scenario, the whole group goes down. And the fact that they're all kind of uncoordinated in how they're responding tells me that they're all a little bit in panic mode, which again seems to confirm that there might be some truth to this. So the comparisons to Ryan Reynolds started to come out, and that is deadly right now. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is in the middle of a massive scandal for being petty, mean, and controlling and inserting himself in his wife's drama. Again, if the shoe fits, right? The comparison. In fact, if anything, comparing him to Ryan Reynolds also shows that people are starting to put together the connection behind authentic brands and who people actually are behind the scenes. Because let's use Mandy Moore and Hillary Duff as examples. They've built brands as being really the girl next door, the nice girl, the sweet girl. And so when we look at this and Matthew Coma inserting himself in this and how this sparked more outrage, and the comparison to Ryan Reynolds, it's starting to show people that the brand you see is not necessarily who that person is. And I've had a lot of people reach out because I still work in branding, marketing, and PR. And I've had clients reach out and they go, I know you always say that Taylor Swift is the every woman, but she's not. Like, she's the ruler brand archetype. And I'm like, no. I know, but her public persona, her brand is the every woman. And that's where we start to see with these celebrities, if what the kids call mask slips, if the mask slips, or there's these moments where you can see kind of behind the veil or behind the curtains of these celebrities' lives, it starts to expose that the brand they've built has been for a very specific reason, not necessarily because of who they are. And let me tell you, just like Ryan Reynolds punching at Justin Baldoni and making fun of his Man Enough brand and his man bun and his beliefs around feminism, this is the same shit. Like Matthew Coma, it read as thin-skinned and reactive and taking a punch at a mom. It's not charming, and it's not funny, and it's not good for the brand. Then Mandy Moore enters. Let's look at that. Now, Mandy's first move, I actually really liked. What we saw here were articles coming out, and this is SEO manipulation and what's called keyword hijacking. So we saw these fluff pieces going out, starting with people, and I thought this was a great move. I thought it was a great move, really smart PR. So she comes out saying, Mandy Moore admits she feels a certain sadness knowing she's done having babies. The This Is Us actress is a mother of 3 children, Gus, Ozzy, and Lou. And so it's a really cute family photo here. And if you go through this, I dare you to count how many times Mandy Moore and mom or mommy is mentioned. But it's a great fluff piece, right? She's talking about the sadness of she had her 3rd child. It says here, I feel like having my 3rd child at 40, this term geriatric pregnancy that's thrown around. I think at least in my experience, so many of my friends are having kids later in life, whether it's by choice or by circumstance or biology. And I think the thing that I had the most trouble with is just like the system in general kind of treating us as an anomaly, that we're like too old and we're too complicated or high risk. And really, it's like, no, we're just human beings. So anyway, it goes on. It's a really cute article, beautiful pictures of her with her family. And again, you see this over and over again. Sweet message about motherhood, Mother's Day, as a mom of 3. Being a mom is the single greatest gift. Again, take a shot every time you hear that. But the idea is, and the goal for that is, when we're looking at SEO manipulation is keyword hijacking. So what you're hijacking there is Mandy Moore and mom or mommy, motherhood, kids. You're keyword hijacking that. So the idea is that by posting this content, it pushes down the content Ashley Tisdale had been putting out in regards to the cut and everything that fell out after that. So a lot of the headlines that came out saying, Mandy Moore and Hilary Duff are part of this toxic mommy group. The idea is this, because it's newer, it's fresher, it'll take priority. And if it's done well, it should take priority over the older articles, pushes down the older articles. They at the very least get off page 1 of Google. And then you have positive stories on page 1 of Google, because the reality is very few, like a couple percentage of people make it past page 1, let alone page 2. So as long as you can control the real estate on page 1 of Google, you're pretty golden. So that came out. I love this. I think it was a fantastic move for her to do. But then she made a mistake. All right. Well, this just came out about 30 minutes ago. What do I always tell you guys? In a PR disaster, what do people do to reputation launder? Charity, donations. Look at how great of a person I am. And look at that. Mandy Moore, Brandon Flowers gather for LA Fires benefit concert 33 minutes ago. So keep your eyes open, because usually when your first attempt at SEO manipulation or keyword hijacking doesn't work, you go to donations. People love donations, makes you look like a great person. So that is starting to trend. But what we saw was that Mandy Moore started to come to the defense of Hilary Duff's husband. Bad move. Bad news bears. What are you thinking doing that? I know it's mean, but at this point, let Hilary Duff deal with her husband. Because you have someone that was taking shots at a mom, whether you agree with what Ashley did or not, was taking shots at a mom, and then deleted it. And he is also being compared to Ryan Reynolds. I would not want my name or my client's name in headlines with this man right now. Are you kidding me? And the problem is, it's right at the top of page 1 for her. Now, if they push this donation LA Fire thing, it'll push it down, and that might be what they're doing. But it's the first thing you see. Now, if anyone's been following this story, you know that you don't want your name in headlines with her husband at this moment. So Mandy Moore praises Hilary Duff's husband amid Ashley Tisdale toxic mom group drama. And it says Mandy Moore praises Hilary Duff's husband, Matthew Coma, just one day after he mocked Ashley Tisdale's toxic mom group essay. It's just a bad look. It's just a bad look. So she did that. And then let's flip over to what Hilary Duff did. So Mandy Moore started out strong. Then she starts putting her name in the headlines with Matthew Coma, who I would just be leaving to deal with his own bad decisions. Then we have Hilary Duff. She has some articles out in regards to this risque song she has. This didn't work either. So let's have a look at what's going on for Hilary Duff. So this is under her name in Google. And we see that Ashley Tisdale, Hilary Duff is at the very top. Mandy Moore is connected to both of them at the very top. Again, I do not think those are great headlines for Mandy Moore. But look at this. So Hilary Duff tried to push this risque song. And the idea, I imagine, was to get news shifted off this drama and shift it over to her music, give the fans something to be excited about. That's something Taylor Swift will do all the time. If she's in the middle of drama, she will give the fans something to be excited about. She will announce something. She'll reveal something. It's a very well-known move. But unless you have the PR behemoth behind you that Taylor Swift does, or the Swifties behind you, it just doesn't work. So what ended up happening is she leaks a clip or lyrics. And the lyrics are, I only want the beginning. I don't want the end. I want the part where you say, God damn, back of a dive bar giving you head, then sneak home late, wake up your roommates. Well, the Swifties are having a knipshit online. Now, apparently, they're acting as if Taylor Swift owns the word roommate. They're saying she sounds exactly like Taylor. How dare she use roommate? It's uncomfortable. It's cringe. She's used roommate multiple times because Taylor did, and she's copying Taylor. So Queen of the Universe Taylor and the Swifties have decided that they own the word roommate, that someone else can't say roommate in their lyrics, but it's just made more of a PR disaster for Hilary Duff. At the end of the day, like, let's be honest, you don't want the Swifties against you if you're a celebrity. You just don't. People will keep their mouth shut, keep their head down, because you just don't want the Swifties against you. So they're having a collective aneurysm. And honestly, in my professional opinion, I would not suggest to my client that you start pushing a big, I'm not the sweet, innocent girl you think I am moment in the middle of potentially being exposed for not being the sweet, innocent girl people think you are. Like, to shift your image right now and say, hey guys, hey, you thought I was cute and innocent, this cute little blonde all along, and I was giving head, like back alley head or whatever it is that she said in the lyrics, dive bar. So I wasn't that sweet, innocent girl. Unless you're just throwing your entire brand in the fuck it bucket and you are owning, like truly owning, yeah, I'm a toxic mom. Yeah, because this is who I am. I'm kind of, this is me. I'm not who you thought I was. Unless that's the plan where she is going to throw her entire brand in the fuck it bucket and make this big pivot, why would you want to give another reason for people to be like, oh, so you're not who we thought you were? So maybe Ashley is right that you are a mean girl. Why are you going to give people more of a reason to think that you've been fake? Because it looks potentially to the public like you've been fake. And look, it's not just Hilary Duff. That's branding. Especially to get to that level, there is a level of performance within the brand. Look at Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is the brand. So when you are a personal brand, whether you are a streamer, a YouTuber, a podcaster, a coach, a healer, course creator, I don't care. You are a personal brand. That includes celebrities. It includes musicians, actors, politicians. They're all personal brands. And when we're looking at building a personal brand, using Taylor Swift as an example, every time you see her, she is on brand. It is intentional every time you see her, because every time you see her, every time you hear something from her, the sole purpose is to support the brand she's built. And the more she shows up in support of the brand she's built, from the clothes, her makeup, her hair, etc., the more trust is built because you know what to expect. And the more trust is built, the more loyalty is built, the more community is built. And it's just like a snowball down a hill in the right direction. It builds more and more and more momentum. But you don't know Taylor. What they present is their personal brand. And something I work with my clients on all the time is not all of you is needed in your personal brand. In fact, if you try to put everything about you in your personal brand, it's not going to work. Now, you can have a more gritty personal brand. Rihanna's a great example. She like clap back at her fans and other people online and on X when she used to be on X. Rihanna's a great example of that. So you can have a grittier personal brand, but you want to always support the brand. I mean, if Rihanna started showing up dressed like Taylor Swift, you'd be like, there's an incongruence in my subconscious mind. Rihanna's very clearly the outlaw brand archetype. Taylor Swift's brand is very clearly the every woman. So there'd be an incongruence in the subconscious mind. So when these big celebrities, especially ones that can control the narrative so strong with PR teams and branding and marketing teams, and get in back doors to places so the public doesn't actually see them unless they called up and made a pap walk, every time you see them, and every time you hear from them, it's meant to reinforce their personal brand. And I'm not saying you can't pivot. Of course you can. You just don't want to flip archetypes. And if you do, you want to do it very carefully. Old Spice is a brand that shifted to the jester and did it very well. But we can see this in Coca-Cola and Nike, all kinds of massive brands that when they tried to flip archetypes, everything went bad. Blake Lively is another great example. She tried to go from the ruler to more of the every woman caregiver brand, and it blew up in her face because everyone knew she was being fake AF. So even if you're pivoting within your brand, you don't want to pivot the brand archetype, which is branding psychology. It's a subconscious contract you make with your community. And you also want to be very careful of pivoting during a crisis. So I don't know if the right time to pivot to, yeah, I'm not the girl you thought I was, is when Ashley Tisdale is essentially saying you're not the girl people thought you were, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And so now we're also seeing Meghan Trainor with this little video of her. It's clearly scripted, and I'm sure the girls told her she didn't find out online, but this little video of her saying, finding out about the toxic mom group drama. They're feeding the beast. And the only thing I can imagine is they all either have horrible people advising them, or they're intentionally feeding the beast and just using this as an opportunity, kind of the thought of no press is bad press, which is not true. Ask Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, but kind of having that mindset of like, all right, whatever, I'll just leverage this for some press and get my name in the press. But I still don't think it's a great idea. And then the final part, point 3, is the SEO tell. This is the smoking gun for me, that what they're doing isn't working. If you Google Hillary Duff right now, you're not seeing her new song. We saw that. It was buried at the bottom. What you're seeing is Ashley Tisdale and Hillary Duff trending. So they don't have, the SEO is telling us that they really don't have that celebrity, if you will, behind them to really pull a Taylor Swift move. And that's essentially what they're trying to pull, is a Taylor Swift move, is the SEO manipulation. They tried the fluff pieces. It just didn't work. They've lost control of the narrative. And the whole point of PR and branding is to control the narrative. And they've lost control of the narrative. And I would love celebrities to wake up and realize that you can't control the narrative like you used to. With social media growing, with TikTok, with YouTube, with Instagram growing, all these different platforms, how fast things go viral and how the public can control what goes viral is not like the old days when you just called up your buddy, your contact at People Magazine. They put out a fluff piece. They had the first go at it. You distributed it to everyone else and everything was fine. Those days are long gone. And I'm genuinely concerned that celebrity PR people and celebrities are not aware that that has happened. So the SEO showed us that the controversy hijacked their brand search. The PR pivots failed, and the PR attempts at fluff pieces and kind of being cheeky about it failed. And the algorithm and the public decided what the story is, not their teams, which is going to get worse in 2026. It's going to be more unforgiving to especially big time celebrities pulling these games. So the problem for me overall, like I said, is they're just not big enough to pull the Taylor Swift playbook. And I think they're trying to pull the Taylor Swift playbook in many ways, and it's just not going to work. Now, what should they have done? I believe, in my opinion, and look, every PR person, every branding and marketing person at the end of the day is going to have a slightly different take on what they would do. And that's the beautiful thing is you get to work, the professionals like me get to work with people that align with their values and their approach. And then someone that wants something else, they can go to someone else. And then there's people that are, they'll do whatever you tell them to do at the end of the day. So option one, I believe they should have done a clean adult statement if they felt they must respond. One statement, joint, calm, final, stop feeding the monster. Something like friendships evolve over time and sometimes feelings get hurt in the process. Looking back, we should have communicated that clearly rather than leaving Ashley hanging, and we can see now that it was incredibly hurtful. We're sorry for any pain caused and wish Ashley nothing but the best. If you had to put anything out, and it didn't have to be so scripted, it could be a little bit more heartfelt, but something along those lines. No jokes, no punching at a mom, no subtweets, none of this high school shit, because it's just reinforcing what Ashley had said. It's making people think like, okay, maybe you are the problem. Even then, in my opinion, it was risky because it still feeds the narrative these days. It still feeds the PR machine. It's a slow news cycle right now. I just think they should have even stayed away from that, to be honest. And we also know how these unfollow trains go. I mean, it's very possible this story was eventually picked up anyway. I don't know if any of them are big enough with communities and fans that care to sleuth these types of things. But if any of them did have communities that care to sleuth these kinds of things or put the puzzle pieces together long term, ask Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, Ryan Reynolds how this goes. The public eventually figures it out. The public's eventually going to figure it out because they'll notice, oh, that's weird. Wasn't Ashley always in pictures with them before and they all seem to be friends and now no one's following each other? And it would have gotten out anyway. So there's also that to keep in mind. Option two, which in my opinion was a better move, do absolutely nothing. Silence would have worked because Ashley didn't escalate it. And in fact, her team denied that it was Hillary and co. No names were used. The public would have debated it briefly and they would have moved on. Honestly, they would have caught the new thing and followed the new thing. Instead, they confirmed the relevance, gave the internet people to analyze and to dig into, and created a searchable storyline that the media is eating up because there ain't much else in pop culture to talk about right now. And that is how you lose control of the narrative. So I believe the core lesson here is it didn't start out as a scandal. What it did, though, is expose an insecurity leak. And the insecurity, in my opinion, is not on Ashley Tisdale's side. It's on everyone else's side based on their reaction. The moment they responded emotionally instead of strategically, they told the internet this hit a nerve. And usually if things hit a nerve like that, there might be some truth to it. There's probably some truth to it. So they really exposed themselves in this scenario. And once the internet smells fear, it doesn't let it go, right? PR isn't about defending your feelings. Something I say to my clients all the time is fuck your feelings, follow the plan. Because your PR, your branding, your marketing, how you show up in your business should not be based on your feelings. Feelings are fleeting. You get pissed because you're at home, you're going, who's this bitch to go the cut and put this out and make me look bad? I'm going to show her. And so you make a stupid ass Instagram post based on your feelings and you make shit worse. Fuck your feelings, follow the plan. And that's even what I say to my entrepreneur clients when they're like, oh, I'm just like not feeling going live this week, or I'm not feeling the launch. Like maybe it's not aligned. Aligned is it's not aligned as the spiritual entrepreneur way of shitting the bed. Fuck your feelings, follow the plan. Or you can't complain about the result of that, right? Like you can follow your feelings, you can react emotionally, but then you can't complain on the other side of that. If your launch tanks, if it blows up in your face in PR, you can't complain. You're like, oh yeah, that's the result of my behavior. It's kind of like that fuck around and find out energy. So really, at the end of the day, PR is not about defending your feelings. It's about protecting the story that people remember. Right now, this story isn't, ooh, Hillary Duff has these like risque songs coming out. Like she's really coming out of her shell. No, it's why are these people so fucking bothered? She doth protest too much. That is the sense right now. And you've upset the Swifties by saying the word roommate. So congratulations. I genuinely think this is a massive loss for all their brands. I don't think it's going to be a loss in terms of Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and losing jobs over it, right? At the end of the day, it's mommy and me type fighting. It's high school shit. But it does show that, and what I believe public figures and celebrities really don't need right now, or anyone, entrepreneurs, personal brands, what they don't need right now is more fuel for people to be like, oh, your brand isn't actually you. You're just bullshitting us for money. And in fact, talking about bullshitting people for money, let's roll right over into Mel Robbins, because I want to talk about the other side of this. What we saw there is no one on that side controlled the narrative. But what happens when you have such incredible control over the narrative that you can lie to people's faces? You can lie, cheat, control, steal, manipulate, and it doesn't touch you. It's like water off a duck's back. That is Mel Robbins. And it is the other side of what we just saw. So Mel Robbins is someone I have about as much respect for as Jay Shetty. And if you know my opinions on Jay Shetty, you know what I mean. If you know, you know. Both people made it to the top by stealing other people's content. And they've proven over and over again, both of them, that the industry rewards confidence over credibility and marketing psychology over originality, with a healthy dose of strong PR teams to deal with criticism and bury things they don't want seen. I mean, if you look back at Mel Robbins, she's not only never addressed the controversy of her stealing the let them theory from someone, she made a book on it. So she not only didn't care about y'all pointing out that she stole it, she made a book about it. A book that she has behind her on her podcast episode streamings, which I'll show you. Mel has a reputation for taking an existing idea, slapping her name on it, and marketing it as some huge breakthrough that she made just for you, friend. Because if no one's told you today, she wants you to know that she loves you and she sees you. Her brand is so rife with branding psychology. And for those that don't know, my original career was in psychology. I was actually a mental health counselor, and that's what led me to such an interest in branding, marketing, and PR psychology and the psychology of it. Her brand is so rife with psychology, including how many times she just loves you so much and sees you when no one else does. And that's actually the emotional resonance Taylor Swift has with her fans as well. She's built a brand that people, even if no one else in their life sees them or understands them, Taylor does. And if I ever criticize her branding or marketing, I'll get DMs from Swifties saying, you don't understand. She sees me in a way nobody else does. It's pretty much the exact same thing that Mel Robbins does when she looks you right in the eyes and she says, in case no one else tells you this today, I wanted to be sure to tell you that I love you and I believe in you and I believe in your ability to create a better life. It's the same thing. Same types of branding psychology that happens, and it creates such a loyal community because no one but this person sees them and understands them on the level they do. Well, what is she doing now? Oh, Mel Robbins. Let's go over to her Instagram. I wouldn't even be surprised if she copyright strikes my video, but let's watch it anyway. So we see here, I need to tell you something, and we're going to watch this. So she has this new protein. Pay attention to what she says and the marketing that she does within it. But I also want to point out something funny. So she got backlash from this, from a small portion of the community, right? It was very niched. It was a fitness community that recognized these shots as not being hers, but a company she acquired, essentially. 2 tiles over on her Instagram. Jealousy is a compass, not a character flaw. That's typical Mel Robbins. If you don't like something she does, if you don't agree with something she does, well, that's a you problem. It's not a her problem. Okay, but let's watch this.
I got to tell you something. I am so excited. I'm terrible at secrets, and I've been keeping a secret from you for a year. I'm so sorry, but now I'm going to tell you the truth. I am launching a new company. It is called Pure Genius Protein. I can finally tell you about it today. Holy cow. Let me show you this sucker. Actually, I've got more products. Hold on. Let me show you. I was supposed to set this up as like a really formal thing, but I don't know how to do that. Okay. So here it is. Holy cow. This is the first product I've ever launched. I've been working on this for over a year. I didn't do it alone. This is the coolest part. I partnered with world-renowned experts in medicine, in nutrition, in scientific innovation. I'm talking your favorite experts from the Mel Robbins podcast, because here's what the experts on the Mel Robbins podcast taught me. Protein isn't just for building muscles in the gym. Protein is the fuel that you need to live a healthy life. About a year ago, I started prioritizing, complete protein, which is the protein that has all the amino acids that you need. And I was shocked at how hard it is to get the amount of protein that all the experts are recommending. Just shocked, especially on those days where you're on the go back to.
Okay, in fairness, Mel Robbins, every fitness expert has been saying that for a long time. But anyway, continue. I'll let you finish.
Back meetings, you're traveling, you're exhausted. You don't want to cook. You're sick of egg bites and smoothies and all the things that are out there. And I was constantly falling short. And so I was like, we got to do something about this. And I started talking to the experts, and the result is this brand new product. I can't believe I'm saying these words. You can actually try it now. You can order it. It's here. Look at the branding. Ding. It's a light bulb, because 23 grams of complete protein in a bottle this size that you can fit. I mean, look at this. You can.
I just can't believe people, well, I can believe it, but just lie like this.
Literally put it in your pocket. I've got 23 grams of protein right there, and it's not going to smush like a bar when I sit down. I've got terrible grip strength. I've got to continue to work on this. Now, here's the coolest part. There's nothing like this that exists because we created it. And it is not chalky. It is the viscosity. That's a fancy word. It's like liquid. It's fruit juice. That's basically what it tastes like. Oh my gosh. That strawberry guava tastes like summer, only it's 23 grams of protein. Who knew the protein could taste like that? I don't know. It's unbelievable. You're not going to believe how delicious this is. My favorite one, pineapple. My husband's favorite, blueberry lemonade. Here, let me show you this, because I know you're like, okay, Mel, if I can order it, let me order this before it sells out. Go to Pure Genius Protein. That's where you can buy it. Yes, it is coming to retail stores very, very soon. We're super excited about our retail partners. And there are three things I want to tell you. Number one, please be patient, because this is so innovative and such a game changer. It is going to keep selling out. Number two, it's only available in the United States right now. So I apologize to everybody that is outside the US. It'll be coming to Canada second. So stay tuned as we expand and as we continue to produce this. And number three, I said that protein isn't just for building muscle in the gym. It's for every single one of us at every stage of life, because it is truly fueling you living a stronger and a healthier and a more vibrant life. Okay. But there's so many different ways to get protein. So if something like this isn't for you, that's great. But I encourage you as your friend, please put yourself first. For far too long, I've put everything and everyone else.
All right. So we'll let her continue in a moment. As your friend, that's marketing psychology as well. I care about you. See, this is infiltrating her brand in every way. As your friend, I care about you. Please put yourself first. So she's not just selling you a product. It's because she cares, guys. And I do believe that we should believe in the products we sell. And there's an ethical way to use branding psychology, marketing psychology. And it just irks me when this is done in a video where she's lying about the origins of this product.
First in my life, and I put my health second. A year ago, I started prioritizing getting more protein, especially 30 grams of complete protein first thing in the morning. It has changed my life. It's changed my body composition. I'm more focused. I'm happier. I'm more motivated. I have less cravings. I have more energy throughout the day. It has been such a game changer. And I did that because of all of the experts that were coming on the Mel Robbins podcast. I just followed the advice. Pure Genius Protein.
This isn't new news.
Is a fantastic, high quality, complete protein. on the go when life gets busy, when you're falling short in terms of how much you're getting. And I think you're going to love it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for watching this. Thank you for being a fan of the Mel Robbins podcast. Thank you for checking out Pure Genius Protein. And thank you for making your health a priority, because you deserve to feel better. And when you feel better, you do better. And when you do better, your life gets better. And I want that for you. Mwah.
Oh, Mel, I want it for you that you do better as well, girlfriend. Okay, so the number one thing that people started to notice was the bottles are identical. I'm going to show you. I can't share it where it'll show you what I'm typing into my browser, but the original product was called Genius Shot. She did not create this. She might have changed. Well, she did change the formula slightly. She took away a lot of what made the product so special and exceptional as a protein source. It was Genius Shot was quite literally one of its kind. It pushed the envelope in terms of quality of protein in a bottle, and she replaced it with collagen. Probably because collagen is a catchy, trending word, and her niche would buy into collagen rather than the type of protein that was used previously. And so it's a marketing ploy. So she changed the protein, maybe also to save money. It's very possible that Genius Shot sold the company due to the costs associated with it. It's very possible. A lot of companies are having to evolve right now. And if you have to change out the very ingredients that made your product what it is, it's possible that Genius Shot had weighed the pros and cons and just decided to sell it instead. Very possible. But she changed the formula slightly and she added collagen. But people started to notice the packaging. Like, this is not a company that is unknown to the fitness world. So let's pull up an example of that. All right. So here we have the images. Hers is Pure Genius. The original is Genius Shot. All of Genius Shot's platforms, their website, anything that was linked previously to Genius Shot redirects you to Pure Genius. So if you go into your browser, and you can do it yourself, type in geniusshot.com. And if you hit enter, check out how the URL changes. It changes to puregeniusprotein.com. So that's another way to see that this actually isn't her baby that she created. What she did was acquired a company, put collagen in instead, probably to save money. Also, probably because collagen is a word that's very trendy with women. Thought it would sell better, even though she says it's all about health, and repackaged it, not really actually, and sold it to you as her product that she's been working her butt off on, even selling you images of her in a lab. I mean, I'm not saying she didn't go to a lab, but I'm saying I'm very skeptical of that. So look at this. We have this here. Look at like they're both here. So we have the Genius Shot, Pure Genius. So this one here, Protein for Life, puregenius.com, 23 grams of protein. That is Mel Robbins. This is the Genius Shot right above it. The bottle's the exact same. She did put a little light bulb on it, so she did do a little bit of rebranding on it slightly. She put a little, see the light bulb, upside down light bulb, as she liked to point out, as a clever marketing ploy. But ultimately, you could see it right here. It's the exact same bottle. It's the exact same everything with a different sleeve around the outside of it. Now, let's flip over to what some of the big names in the fitness industry are saying about this. This is one of the more informative posts I've seen about this, so I'm going to read it out to you. And this is KCKLATT over on Instagram. And I had found this post through Beth Farraco Fitness, who is someone I follow and respect. So it says here, a deeper look at Mel Robbins' protein shot. Mel Robbins announced the launch of a protein shot, Pure Genius, today that's garnered a lot of chatter online, but is an interesting look into the wellness industry and nutrition. Mel is describing this as a brand she launched but the title was immediately curious to anyone in the space. Pure Genius looks a lot like Mike Istriel's Genius Shot. The old geniusshot.com takes you to the new Pure Genius website. Seems like they just got involved with an existing brand. Genius Shot was one of the first non-medical nutrition products to launch with cow's milk beta-lactogluten, a leucine-rich fraction of whey protein that is very concentrated and allows for clear, small, quantity-high protein products. The old Genius Shot formulation used 26.7 grams of BLG 100 to give you 23 grams of high-quality protein. The new Pure Genius Shot reformulated the old Genius Shot to now include bovine collagen peptides. Wah, wah. With still 23 grams of protein, this means they diluted the high quality and expensive BLG protein with collagen. And this is what I'm saying. I do wonder if the original company, and this is my, I don't know, theory being in the industry for a long time, this is a very expensive product, BLG protein. And I do wonder if the money wasn't mathing, or the math wasn't mathing, as the kids say, and they sold the company. And to make the math, Mel Robbins replaced BLG protein with collagen and told you it's all because of your health and how much she loves you and you're her bestie friend, and that's why she did it. So she switched that out. And this post continues with saying they aren't showing you on the online label exactly how much yet, but we can reasonably estimate it. The old Genius Shot had 23 grams of protein and listed this as 46% of daily value on the label. The daily value is calculated using a reference amount of protein of 15 grams, 50. 23 divided by 50 times 100 equals 46%. The daily value is acquired. Now, here's where we get mathy, guys, but it's really important. The daily value is required to be corrected for protein quality using a metric called the PDCAAS, Protein Digestibility Corrected Amino Acid Score. Whey has a PDCAAS of 1% score, so that's 46%, stays at 46%. It's perfect. But the new formulation, the new Pure Genius also has 23 grams of protein, but only 32% of daily value. Well, how did it lose 14 points? That 32% is reflecting that they had to adjust the percentage of your daily value by protein quality because they added the collagen. Collagen is extremely low quality protein, guys. You cannot compare, this is me riffing now, if you're listening on just audio. You cannot compare whey protein to collagen, no matter how much Mel Robbins tells you you can, and how this is for your health and how great it is for you. So this continues. Collagen is extremely low quality protein, mostly rich in non-essential proline and glycine. Its PDCAAS protein quality score is a 0. Goose egg 0. Knowing that total amount of protein, 23 grams, the reference protein for the DV, daily value, 50 grams, the protein sources and their PDCAAS scores, 1 for whey, 0 for collagen, we can derive the likely amounts of whey, 16 grams, versus collagen, 8 grams. So it says, what does this mean? For a consumer taking this as a protein shot, thinking it helps them hit 23 grams of protein per day, that's not the case. It's still a product high in protein, but about 1/3 less than you think at 16 grams. For consumers of the previous Genius Shot, they should be transparently told about this switch up. Diluting whey with collagen is relevant for folks to appreciate. Collagen doesn't contain the essential amino acids to stimulate muscle protein synthesis and facilitate the other rules of protein in the body. Consumers might want collagen for potential aesthetic purposes, hair, skin, nails, but the evidence here is quite weak. Guys, save your money on this collagen shit. You think you're doing something, but you're not. It continues. Why would they reformulate? I'm sure a marketer will tell you that it's to get the benefits of collagen, but it's highly likely that they cut down on product costs by swapping the expensive beta-lactogluten whey with collagen. That's what I said. We've seen an explosion of protein bars that use collagen as the first ingredient, with few consumers appreciating that it should be advertised as a maybe aesthetic bar. Maybe aesthetic bar. So her shots, what does she call them now? Pure Genius protein, should be like a maybe aesthetic protein shake, or maybe aesthetic juice shot. She was bragging about it being flavored like juice. This is concerning. She has not been transparent at all, but which is also part of the course with Mel Robbins. But how has she insulated her brand? How does she continue to lie and get away with it? Number one, I actually find it's very interesting. She has not promoted this product since this backlash started. I do think she's taking the silent route because the more she promotes it, the more fuel it's going to add for people to push back, which means there's going to be more attention brought to it. So I do think she's taken the silence route for this, which I mean, I wouldn't work for PR with Mel Robbins, but if I was going to work for Mel Robbins in PR, I would tell her, shut your mouth. Like, just don't promote this publicly just yet. Let things die down. Let people being upset and having discovered this die down. But number one in her brand, she has volume as armor, like content saturation. So she has so much to pull on, even if she gets bad press. She doesn't argue with criticism. She literally buries it. When someone has thousands of videos, years of strongly SEO optimized content, a blog, an email list, books, PR machine, she doesn't need to respond directly. You don't even see Taylor Swift respond directly. They don't need to. They just publish more, publish new content, optimize titles with the same keywords, which is keyword hijacking. Let Google and YouTube do the cleanup. The result is any critical article or video gets drowned out by her own content, her own clarification, if you will, her own reframing without her actually addressing it directly. It's not rebuttal, it's algorithmic suffocation. It's SEO manipulation. Number two, preemptive framing. Remember I showed you how on her Instagram grid, just 2 after this post, she went on about like jealousy and a post about jealousy? Oof. She pulls this out of the arsenal. Her brand language not just subtly implies, but straight up implies if you don't like something, you're resistant to it. If you're uncomfortable, you're the problem. If you're criticizing, you don't get it. And if you have a problem with her, you're jealous. So by the time criticism actually shows up, it's already been psychologically discredited, framed as emotional weakness, and cast as negativity rather than injury to her brand. That's not debate. It's inoculation. She doesn't need to silence critics. Her audience, the brand, and content does it for her, and she lets her team just bury the shit out of any bad news. Number three, emotional surplus. The I love you shield. Did I ever tell you? If no one told you that they loved you today, please know I do. I'm not saying don't love your community. I genuinely love my community. And I'm even conscientious of how often I use it. Even if I genuinely want to say it, I am very conscientious of how often I say it because I know that it has the potential to turn into, even if unintentionally, this almost emotional manipulation piece. So when a brand floods the relationship with care language, validation, warmth, I'm here for you and no one else is energy, whether they actually say it or the brand's just rife with content that supports that, criticism starts to feel cruel, unfair, and like an attack on the person who cares about you, not their ideas. Now, it codes you subconsciously to feel as though it is cruel for me to question this person, but it also creates like this little army of fans or community that will see anyone else that brings up criticism as cruel, unfair, and attack on the person. But it also feels like an attack on you. So if someone criticizes, say, Mel Robbins, it feels like an attack on you if you feel very seen by her because it's like my identity is connected to this brand. So you attacking her is actually an attack on me. And it can become very cult-like in many ways. So even reasonable critique gets read as like, why are you so mean? She's just trying to like bring easy protein and yummy protein to people. She's just trying to help. She's a nice lady. What's your problem? Do you just hate successful women? I bet you have a problem with successful women. And then that's what gets pushed to the forefront and it creates moral friction around questioning her. So let's actually swing over to her podcast really quick to have a look at this. All right, we're going to watch a short clip from Mel's podcast. You got to love the Let Them book in the background. I just feel like that's a big fuck you to everyone. I don't even think she cares. Obviously not if she wrote a book about it, but let's just see how she signs off every podcast.
To listen to
this episode in particular and to share it with people that you care about. The amount of takeaways, the amount of just advice and tools that James just gave you, I want you to ask that question: who do I want to become? And then I want you to follow every single thing he told you, because it will work. I'm going to keep listening to this. I'm going to share this with all three of my adult kids and our entire team. This is one of the best episodes we ever done. So I'm absolutely thrilled that you were here. And in case no one else tells you, I wanted to be sure to tell you, as your friend, that I love you and I believe in you. And I believe in your ability to create a better life, because James Clear just gave you the roadmap for how you do it. So go do it. And I'll be waiting to welcome you into the very next episode the moment you hit play. I'll see you there.
So that's how she ends her podcast. And this has the potential, like I said, to have a dark angle. And often to get to this size, it is used with the intention of being manipulative, because it's used to influence behavior within the audience, to influence it subtly. You don't even realize. You just feel this emotional connection to the person and you're willing to defend them and buy anything they put out. And emotional connection is great. We need emotional connection in brands. Brands need to resonate with you, and you need to resonate with them on an emotional level. It's why you pick watching Emily D. Baker maybe over the lawyer you know, right? You emotionally resonate. You feel seen with a certain brand. I felt seen by Emily D. Baker immediately when she was talking about being ADHD and struggling with technology. Two things I am. I struggle with technology and I'm ADHD. So I felt seen by her. Yet often this is pushed over into the realms of manipulation. So psychological principles like reciprocity means you feel obligated to return affection, and that can be weaponized. Followers might overlook flawed advice or lies within products because they feel loved by the brand. So then brands, for example, Mel Robbins, can get away with stuff like this, with twisting the truth on the origins of this protein product, but then also twisting the truth about the quality of the product. They can get away with this because people overlook those flaws because they feel loved by the brand or the person themselves. In extreme cases, it actually parallels tactics used in coercive relationships or cults, where constant affirmation lowers critical thinking. And what typically does a cult go after? Someone that doesn't fit in anywhere else, someone that struggles to be seen by anyone else in their life, so they're seen by the cult leader. Well, how does Mel start her podcast? And in case no one else tells you this today, I wanted to be sure to tell you that I love you. Being seen by someone when no one else sees you, it's speaking to a certain type of niche, someone that doesn't feel seen by other people in their life. And so that's why when you start to put together all of the pieces, it's not just her saying she loves you or sees you as a friend or any of that in isolation that's the problem. It's you add it all together. And this is the same behavior and parallels that happen in coercive relationships and cults, because that constant affirmation is used to lower your critical thinking because you finally feel seen for the first time in your life. No one else, maybe not even your kids. Maybe your kids were throwing things at you and, said they hate you, and you're fighting with your partner and your boss is an asshole, and you come home and you turn on Mel Robbins. And everyone in your life that day was kind of an ass to you. But Mel says, in case no one else told you this today, I wanted to tell you, I love you. You can't tell me that even if you're not a fan of Mel Robbins, that you didn't feel that shift of that exhausted. And she speaks to that in the protein reel. You're exhausted. You're running off your feet. You've got a million things to do. You can't think about protein sources now. So not only is she talking to someone that's not being told or not feeling appreciated in their life, but she's speaking to that mom that's probably, or that woman that's running off her feet, feels underappreciated, feels that people don't see her for how hard she works. And now she's got solutions for you. And she's also, don't forget, the only one that told you she loves you today. That's where it gets into the realm of manipulation. So when she overuses this language, it creates this, it hits the innate human need for belonging and validation. And it's rooted in attachment theory, of course. And that's going to build rapid loyalty, encouraging followers to buy books, courses, merchandise, anything, no matter how sketchy the offer is strictly because she sees you. But it has the potential to prey on vulnerable audiences. It has the potential to prey on, well, and not even just vulnerable audiences. I can't tell you how many times I know, because I work in the field, what these celebrities are doing with their branding, marketing, PR, and I find myself getting caught up in it because it just works on your subconscious mind. It works without you realizing it's working. This isn't about one person being untouchable. It's about how modern brands build critique-resistant brands and then bury anything that is a critique of them. She's not immune because she's perfect. She's not immune, and even celebrities that you might think of that might come up to the top of the mind that have never had bad press, it's not because they're perfect. It's not because there could not be bad press or they've never pissed someone off. They're insulated in some way. So I'm going to end with this. When a brand feels immune to criticism, it's usually not because there's nothing to criticize. It's because the system within that brand is built to make critique feel inappropriate. And then anything that slides through gets buried by the PR team. All right, my friends, if you want to know how to use PR for yourself in an ethical way, not like some of these grifters, I do have a Your 90-Day PR Playbook. I will put the link in the show notes if you desire to check it out. I believe everyone needs to understand PR. I'll put the link there. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.